Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 38 for your post-Christmas episode of Doom. Hi, I'm Ryan Higgins. I'm joined by my co-host, who's not as lovely as last week, who is the person to my immediate left, who is
Brock Sager.
Talking to your microphone, Brock Sager. The lovely people want to hear you.
You're giving me... You're scaring the crap out of me. Every time you try and do the intro, you suck.
Awesome. Toby.
Hello.
How's it going, Toby?
Good.
You're back for another episode?
Yeah.
And we have a special guest all the way from the City of Angels, good friend of the store, and myself, Seth. Seth, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Seth is wearing a Spider-Man hoodie jacket shirt thing, so you know he's the odd man out here.
Yes, I am. Spidey rules.
All right.
Yeah, when you walked up to the store today, I thought a handicapped guy was coming into the shop.
I like me comics.
All right.
They just stopped it, and I was like, man, now I feel bad for calling you a handicapped person.
It's okay. Me so Christmas.
Nice reference. All right, we got some comic books to talk about, some comic booky things for this post-Christmassy occasion, seasons, blah, 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 whatever.
Christmas, pre-New Year's.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say.
I guess actually we should say, how was your Christmas? How was
My
your
Christmas?
Brock?
It was okay.
Was it all right?
It was very low-key, hop from one place to another place.
You stayed locally?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I went down halfway to L.A., so visit the girlfriend's family. So it was exciting as always. Ate lots of food, lots of candy.
My only exciting thing was Brody was coughing on Christmas Eve morning, so I had to go to the hospital.
Oh, that sucks.
And he has croup.
Croup?
Yeah.
Like
They sound like a barking seal when they
Nice.
cough. You just take them outside in the cold, moist air. They'll do okay.
All right.
So he's doing okay.
Toby, how about yourself? Any comic book related Christmas adventures?
No.
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 All right.
Yeah. It was
Boring.
Just,
Local.
Yeah. Had fondue by myself. Yeah.
Exciting as always.
Yeah, I gotta keep my tradition, but yeah, that was
Right.
kind of
There you
it.
go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, it was really odd because my mom was in town, but she went out on Christmas Eve night and she was gone on Christmas Day. I'm like, all right,
Well,
Kinda weird,
Does she
but-
celebrate Christmas?
yeah, but I was like,
I know a lot of Asian people don't.
yeah,
so.
she got invited to like these other Asian people's homes, and she disappeared. I'm like, all right, I'll guess I'm having Christmas dinner by myself, and
Hey,
yeah, which is fine. Yeah,
that works.
Yeah, yeah.
That works. Seth, you got family up here, so that's why you're up here.
Yeah, I was up here with my parents and sister. It's my sister's house, and we just had presents and dinner and went out looking at lights. It was nice.
Cool. All right. Well,
Did we all get what we wanted as comic book geeks?
I got very little. I never get comic book stuff for Christmas. Like people know, like don't even bother. Like because there's no point. Because I
Well,
can get.
yeah, I mean, you own the store. There's
Right.
no point in coming and saying, "Can I get
Right.
a gift certificate to give to you?"
That'd be pretty funny.
I mean,
actually.
I've had people give me books and stuff, and like my girlfriend has taken me around one year for my birthday, be like, "Oh, I'll go buy you like some old back issues and stuff like that from your want list and stuff like that."
How long
that
ago
stuff's
did
cool.
she do that?
It was a long time ago. But
When they first dated.
that stuff's cool, but like, yeah, I mean, now it's like the most I get is like I'll get some movies or some figures or something. But yeah, I don't usually get too much comic related stuff.
I got a bunch of figures, and I got the Batman Absolute Hush.
Yes.
My girlfriend loves
bought
me.
him. She bought him here.
I know.
I got the
That's loyalty.
Sergio Aragones 5 Decades of Mad hardcover.
Nice,
Very nice.
Now you are a large. You're a long time Sergio Aragones and Gru fan, Seth.
Yes, I'm
That's
a
correct.
huge Aragones and Gru fan. Yes, like huge collector. I'd see him at every convention. Him and Mark Evanier. Actually, was talking to Mark not long ago. He said, "Make sure to come by next convention and say hi." So,
Cool. You got some like commissions and sketches.
yeah, I've gotten a lot of sketches from Sergio and a one commission a couple of years ago. Yeah,
He's a great artist. He's so fun.
yeah, it's
I love
amazing
that
how
stuff.
fast he is.
Yeah. All right.
Toby,
Well,
did you get anything?
Yeah, I got a chair that folds up.
into Megatron.
Like no, like for Comic Con. Like it's like a teeny little
Oh yeah.
chair.
Sure.
Yeah, for
like-
my buddy that always goes with me, which is kind of funny. I'm like, that means you're gonna keep coming then. Yeah,
Just like the little carry chair.
yeah, it's like it folds up and it's really small and could fit in your pocket.
yeah.
And my sister got me a couple of movies, Attack the Block, Friends with Benefits. And
Still good to see you, Dr. Block.
yeah, it's an excellent movie. And The Smurfs, which I actually liked. Yeah, and that's kind of it. Yeah.
Sweet. I got the Smurfs too.
I know
Yeah.
you probably had the biggest disappointment of us all not getting Star Wars Old Republic.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good. I don't have time to play those games. I'm a grown adult. I can always buy it myself at some point. I really want to. All right, we got an email. Let's go on and read a couple things here. Enough Christmas talk. Another 12 months we do this again. All right, I get an email from Liquid.
Liquid.
Oh, this should be good.
Common, always posting on the forums and stuff here. No, it's a perfectly fine email. It says, in a recent issue of Spider-Man, Sandman makes a comment about how it would be nice to win one for a change. Do you dudes and bros know any mainline superhero stories where the bad guys actually achieve their crazy maniacal plan and the good guys actually lose, not just a small victory that the heroes eventually overcome at the end of the immediate arc or something relatively minor to their goals, like the death of a character, but a major victory that has long-term ramifications for the world or changes a fundamental aspect of the comics for months or years afterwards.
Norman Osborn?
P.S. Marvel rules and you dorks drool. P.P.S. Brock is penultimate. So there you go.
Well, anything that Joe Q has pulled off, if that counts.
I mean, the only two books that came to my mind are not mainstream superhero books. I mean, it's Empire and Irredeemable, both by Mark Waid, both involving a villain that basically takes over the world. But as far as actually in the comics, I mean, right, the Norman Osborn, Dark Avengers stuff, that was
Lex
a pretty
Luthor's
long
president.
run. Lex Luthor, President of the United States. Did any of them have any long-lasting ramifications? Not... I mean, kind of, but not really. But it was a long story. It wasn't just like...
Yeah, like Norman lasted quite a bit.
Yeah, it was a couple of years. Right. So, I mean, those are the only two things that I could really think. Well, again, Wanted sort of like...
The whole world is based that they won already.
Right. I mean, I think he's asking specifically any of the Marvel or DC story arcs where it's been a long time. But no, I mean, Wanted was the Mark Miller comic from Top Cow. And Empire and Irredeemable, both by Mark Waid, are fantastic books. I highly recommend those, where it's like the villain has won. Kind of now what? So really cool books, and if someone wants kind of different spin of the superheroes, I always recommend those two titles. Although Empire is out of print right now, which sucks. So go find some back issues, or pay big bucks for it on eBay.
I might have that one somewhere.
Doesn't Catwoman get away with a lot?
But it's not like
it's just like a semi-hero, semi-bad guy.
The world.
Yeah, it's not like end of the world.
It's not
or
like
major,
Pinky and the Brain shit.
Major thing. I mean, like I try. There's got to be an. I mean, kind of like what's happening with the X-Men right now. With all the
But what villain?
This kind of, I mean, themselves.
But
for
they're
all
not
intents and
villains.
purposes. Scarlet Witch and House of M. I mean, the recent. I mean, she's not a villain, but
Yeah, but they also pretty much ignored House of M after it was over.
nah, not with the X-Men.
Well,
stuff.
not with the X-Men, but with everything else.
Yeah.
With X-Men, they couldn't ignore it because there was no more mutants except for the 300 that survived.
The Magic 300 that just happened to be the most important 300. Except for, like, Jubilee. She's not a vampire for some reason.
Well, she's human again, isn't she?
She's a vampire now.
Is she still a vampire?
Yeah. Stupid.
Okay.
She's going to ride that Twilight.
I hope that gets restored really soon.
Yes, hope so.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you just don't have... I mean, that's the whole point, is that they don't win for very long. So...
Well, and we only see the stories that they really get caught in. I mean, I assume Sandman's gotten away with some heists to be able to afford to pay for his, lair.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we always see the ones where they get caught.
Right.
Right. I imagine Lex Luthor has gotten away with a lot of evil stuff that Superman has never known about.
That's how he got into power.
Right.
I mean, Luthor has done a ton of crap, which got him into the position that he's in. So,
on the same subject, this is kind of funny. It's kind of unrelated, but so when I grew up, I never liked G.I. Joe. That's because I watched a G.I. Joe episode, or what I thought was a G.I. Joe episode, where the good guys kept dying and kept losing, and the bad guys kept winning. I was like, why the hell would I watch this? So that was like one of my lasting impressions, me never liking G.I. Joe after that. But people kept telling me that's not possible that happened. So I must have been seeing something else and thinking it was G.I. Joe, because it was, you guys left and right were dying left and right, and they kept losing. And I was like, this is really weird. So
no one dies in G.I. Joe.
Yeah, it was really weird. So I must have been seeing something else, and someone told me it was G.I. Joe or something. But because of that, I never really liked G.I. Joe.
Like the movie was the only someone actually died. Right?
Yeah, it was on TV. It was really weird. So it must have been something else, or it was maybe I imagined something
Or
while I was.
It was like a fantasy episode, maybe, where they thought they were all losing.
Yeah, it's really weird. They were like, they kept losing. Well, I was like, why would I cheer for G.I. Joe? They're stupid. They keep losing. Yeah.
Back to the villain thing. I mean, the James Gordon supposedly got away with something in Skeleton Keys in that Black Mirror trade.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
That's a good book.
Oh yeah.
I just read that before like last week or so. Man, that book is good.
But for the most part, if a villain wins, it kind of is the end of the book or the end of the character. So it's hard to get something that's really long lasting. You get your Death of Gwen Stacy, Phoenix blowing up stuff. These things happen, but
Barbara Gordon paralyzed,
right? But even that, they always come back. So it's not too many, unfortunately.
This is true.
Even Barbara.
Right. All right, Brock, you got an email there?
Yeah, I got an email. This is from Jared. He writes, I'm interested in putting some of the older books I have collected into a bound hardcover, as you guys have done with Booster Gold and the New Warriors. I'm curious how you research putting your reading list together and how you find out about appearances in other books.
Just because Ryan actually put all the complete New Warriors together with the crossovers and everything.
Well, first of all, I still need to see his New Warriors.
It's really nice.
See how it came out,
you haven't seen it yet?
I want to do my Blue Beetle and Booster Gold books.
Yeah, you have to see it. It's actually done really nicely.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The way a lot of people do this is if you... I don't remember what the forum is called, but if you just do a Google search for comic binding, it's the very first one that's on there. There's a really there's a really big forum for comic binding stuff. Maybe even be like comicbinding.com or something. They have a lot of maps that basically go, here are all the appearances. I was lucky enough, there's a really crazy fan of the New Warriors whose name is escaping me right now.
Ryan Higgins.
Well, besides me. He actually has like every appearance of every character that's ever been in any of the issues of the New Warriors, like chronological from like the first appearance on.
Oh, wow.
It's just ridiculous. And the site's not active anymore, but he has like an archived version of it. So I went on there and I was able to make sure I had all the crossovers and everything. Mm-hmm. But even for that, like you don't want every appearance and every crossover. Like I just did I checked the end of every issue to make sure it was continued in the next issue or what issue it was continued in.
Yeah.
And then the couple occasions where there was a clear reference back to another appearance. Mm-hmm. So I didn't reread the whole series, but I flipped through the whole series before binding it just to make sure. Like there was a couple issues where, or there was an issue where the New Warriors appear in the Fantastic Four. And then when they're in the New Warriors, it's a clear reference back to that issue, so I threw that in there. Mm. But you can't put in every appearance because there's way too many books.
I researched Booster Gold.
Regardless of character.
There was a huge fan, and they put it in chronological order, meaning time travel wise, which made it a headache to kind of look at the books. So I kind of just went for the straight Booster Gold 1 to 25.
Yeah.
And then
you did the action comic.
And the one action issue that crossed over. And then I also put in the Secret Origins issues for the Justice League International at the end. So it was kind of nice, this nice little thing. But the problem with Booster Gold that I noticed after I bound it was all those
missing an issue?
Well, no, all the later issues for Booster Gold crossover with Millennium or crossover with Legends, or it crossed over with so many other books that it was really choppy, and I was like, I don't even want to do it.
Well, you can't. I mean, you can't put all the books. You can't put Millennium and Legends and all those books into the Booster Gold title. It doesn't work.
No.
Now, let me ask you guys this. I got some of them I've been interested in binding also. Like, for example, like I have the entire run of Batgirl, the Cassie run. Yeah. And there's some issues that are obviously tied into other books, so not necessarily a Batgirl book. It's like she's a crossover, part of the big Batman family story arcs. Would you actually put those in, or would you actually take them out? Because if you actually put them in, would you put, it gets too crazy, then you have to put, like, say, the whole No Man's Land in or something like that. Or would you just pull those issues because they're actually part of No Man's Land?
I could see it going either way. I mean, if you include all the issues and you have all the issues and you just say, okay, this one obviously refers to No Man's Land and really part of that arc.
Yeah.
Or you can take that one out and do it just the ones that are just really solo
the Batgirl books,
solo arcs.
Yeah.
I mean, it could work either way. It depends on how you want to go.
Yeah.
Personally, I would leave those issues in, I wouldn't put No Man's Land.
Yeah, I mean, it's like how like I would put in like cross like you did with the New Warriors, like that Thor, a couple Thor issues, couple Fantastic Four issues.
Right.
That makes sense, right? But when it's like giant storyline. I'm like, I don't want to put that in.
I think Batgirl and Robin had like a little 2-part crossover.
Yeah, see, I'm down for that. Yeah, I'm totally down for that.
If it's something like the Booster did with Action, where it's this issue happens and then this issue happens.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
That's fine to kind of add in. But when you have those major crossovers like No Man's Land or Officer Down,
but would you pull those books out?
How I would start it is I actually would put her first appearance in that book, though, because that's in No Man's Land. So I would put that arc as the start, and then just go into her solo series.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
yeah, because I mean, a lot of this stuff, like with Booster Gold, when I found it and then I read it, I was like, oh, Millennium. Well, I have to read it. So I just went and got the trade and read it.
Cool.
Because it's as long as you have the material to kind of reference to, you're fine. Like when I was doing the Suicide Squad reading list, it was abysmal. Like they were in this and they made an appearance in this, and you can't get every appearance unless you're going to buy a comic just to cut one page out. And it's kind of like, why would you just cut one page out?
Right.
I got to cover a page and that's it. Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
You kind of have to pretty much just go with the main book usually for all of them, unless it is like a short tie-in.
Yeah, because I'm going to do, my next goal is for Batman and the Outsiders, but I'm waiting to get
the old school one.
Oh yeah,
I like those. Yeah,
I'm going to get those.
I think I'm actually going to pull, despite me not doing this with the New Warriors. I might actually pull my original copies of Darkhawk out and have that be my second volume.
You know what? That should be your second volume. I mean, Darkhawk, no offense. But
it was the very first comic book I bought. I'm not sure if I want to do it yet because I
just get another copy of that issue.
I may keep that issue.
And find another one.
And find another one and throw it.
You know what's funny? The first American comic I ever bought was a Darkhawk also.
Nice.
So, yeah. It was like number 2 or number 3, but it was a Darkhawk also.
Mine was number 4.
It was. I was at the airport going back to Europe, and they had a comic book stand, and that one just kind of stood out. So yeah. I think it had like Spider-Man on the cover, maybe.
Yeah, that's 3 if I'm not mistaken.
And I think that's why it made me buy, because there was no actual Spider-Man. So I was like, oh, there he is. I'll just get that one.
Yeah. And Darkhawk, man.
Yeah.
2 out of 4 Geek Boxers agreed. Darkhawk's awesome. Or I guess we're not Geek Boxers now. We're comic conspirators. Close enough. Hey, 2 out of 12.
See, I wasn't going to correct him. I was like, maybe on the Geek Box, there's 2 out of it.
All right.
Thank you, Jared, for your email.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. If anyone actually gets stuff bound, send us pictures. I love seeing the bindings and the graphics and the designs people use, because there's some awesome ones out there.
Yeah, I really want to do a lot of the old burn ones, like the She-Hulk burn. Which I actually have a trade of it, so I'm not so sure if I want to buy them. But it just has to smell like just opening the books and seeing the old ads, and it's just kind of cool. There's something about it.
And the other thing is you did Marvel books and I did DC books, and mine was the older versions, and it came out a lot better with the trimming,
right?
Because they have the extra white around on those. Yours didn't.
Mine came out fine.
Yeah.
Except for the covers.
There was a little extra trim on the cover, but it was fine.
It was fine for me.
I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I really had no complaints.
Get my West Coast Avengers and my Brown Coat Avengers. Yeah.
You could buy the Avengers Crossing omnibus that's coming out. That's $100.
Yeah, it's like $100.
Yeah.
I think it's easier when I hunt down the quarter books.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like to do the New Warriors and stuff like Darkhawk.
Yeah.
It's cheap stuff because the books don't cost very much.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that Batgirl collected?
Well, it was collected at the time, but it's out of print. Yeah, it was in pieces though. But it was collected at the time. But I got every single issue. I knew that. There's a guy that kept wanting to buy the whole run from me, and I kind of neglected to do that. So if I actually sell the whole run now, I feel a little stupid about it because he was offering quite a bit of money. So I was like, nah, I should keep it now and just bind it and keep it. Yeah.
All right. This past weekend, which was Christmas, our good friend Anders Johnson over at Bleeding... He's actually not a good friend. Over at bleedingcool.com, which many people hate and many people love. Regardless, either way, it's a very popular site. Posted some original pictures of Watchmen 2.
Night Owl supposedly. Comedian.
Supposedly. They look like kind of character sketches, character studies, kind of pinups. The Comedian by J.G. Jones and Night Owl by Joe and Andy Kubert. Which were then now taken down as of earlier today, but the pictures are still out there, really easy to come by. Very interesting to actually see, if this is really pieces from it. I mean, it looks like it. So, Watchmen 2, apparently official. There we go. We were just talking about this a few weeks ago, so cool.
I thought the artwork on both were really, really good.
Well, J.G. Jones is such a fabulous artist. Like he could do whatever. I don't care. And the Kubrick stuff looked really good. So
yeah, they both look pretty good. It'd be interesting to see as more stuff comes out and where they take it. If they do a prequel, like they kind of rumored it to be, or if it's a straight sequel.
No, it sounds like they want to do this as sort of the origin of all these characters.
So it's not Watchmen 2, it's Watchmen .1?
-1. Yeah.
0.
He was also saying that it's Amanda Connor is involved in doing one of the books as well that came out earlier today. So she's got a kind of a very different style. So she's doing a Silk Spectre, apparently. But I wonder, she's done a little more cartoony, but I've seen her do something that's a little more serious, so it'll be real interesting to see if this is true, what she's going to do on that as well. So, yeah, Watchmen 2. It's a thing, probably, hopefully. I'm down. Yeah, I got nothing else. That it? Watchmen 2? Anyone care? No?
Nope.
All right, moving on. We'll wait till it's actually out.
Well, are we going to even introduce Seth?
We did.
No, it's like, hi, I'm
He
Seth.
did.
Hey, he's a friend from L.A. and he's fine.
He doesn't even get a normal spiel.
Well, we'll give him some spiel. Hey, I don't know. Before we have there was something else we're talking about, but Seth, what's your
comic book history?
I guess everyone here has had their comic book history. So what's your what's your origin? What's your secret origin?
My secret origin in comics. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. One of my earliest memories is drawing Spider-Man's foot on the wall outside my bedroom. And it remained there for like years and years and years until like maybe 4 years ago when we finally repainted. So yeah, I used to put like pencils in my sleeve and pretend they were web shooters. So I've always been a big Spider-Man fan.
I'm sorry.
Shut up.
I'm sorry for the more recent years.
No, I've been liking the Dan Slott stuff. I mean, I
wasn't talking about the Dan Slott stuff.
Oh, how we got to Dan Slott stuff? Yeah, I had to ignore how we got to where we're at. Otherwise, I would be mad. But ignoring how we got to where we're at right now, I think Spider-Man's been good. But as a kid, I just read whatever I could find that were my brothers. And I think I started really buying when I was like 13, 14. And I started really buying the DC stuff more. And really got huge into DC comics.
Yeah, you've since seen the light, and you've become a much bigger DC fan.
I was always more DC than Marvel. I mean, I like the old Marvel stuff, the old X Factor stuff, and I still love Spider-Man. And occasionally Hulk or Iron Man. But I've always been bigger with DC, especially Flash and Green Lantern and Aquaman. Those are my first kind of really big when I started collecting for real. So, yeah, that's about it.
Now, one of the things I think is funny about you, not funny, like, haha, but interesting, is you are a fan of lots of superhero memorabilia stuff. Now,
yes.
Brock, Toby, we don't go too much outside like action figures and statues, but you do like the full-on like 7-Eleven cups, Pez.
Yeah, I have the collection of all that.
Like a monster truck stuff. Like you really have got into like the memorabilia side of it.
Right, yeah. I mean, I try to limit myself to just characters I really like.
Sure, of course.
But because otherwise it takes up too much space. But yeah, I got a huge Pez collection. A lot of the DC, pretty much all the DC ones that have come out recently. Like the first time ever Superman and Green Lantern.
Cool.
And I have all the Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Wolverine, Slurpee cups. I mean, I had to get Gambit Slurpee cup. That's my favorite mutant, so I had to get the Gambit one.
Now, was this something you kind of did from younger, or was this a more recent, like when you got a little older, a little more disposable income?
I mean, a little bit of both. I liked all that stuff as a kid, but I think it's more, when I had the extra money, I could get the more stuff and start branching out. Because as a kid, I got mostly action figures. I would have like tons of action figures. But I think it's also been a little more of not so much, partly having the money and partly being an adult where I'm out there seeing these items. Because as a kid, I pretty much got what my parents bought me.
Yeah, because you're not out there. You can't really. And, there was no eBay. There's no tracking stuff down.
Right. It was like what the Toys R Us have. And that was it.
Now, you also... for many, many years, and I've hooked you up with many of these, you've collected in line with Robert Shaw's kind of oddball comics. They don't do that article, and he doesn't do oddball comics anymore, does he? He online. I mean,
I don't know if he does it online, but he does do panels about it still.
Right. He still does the panels. There's a guy named Robert Shaw that collects old, goofy comics, and he had this great comic article on Comic Book Resources for a long time called Oddball Comics, and he now does them at conventions. It's just hilarious stuff. And in that similar fashion, Seth is a fan of
I have
two things.
Well, I have a few things, or kind of two main things, and they branch off. I collect anything with gorillas or monkeys on the cover.
And
the other one is giant superheroes / miniature superheroes. Something where they've kind of changed size. And the one that I got, the Holy Grail I got, was Superboy turned into a giant gorilla holding on to the young Clark Kent in his hand. So that was the Holy Grail I found. That was giant talking superhero gorilla. And that was
with a miniature
Clark. Yeah, Clark Kent. I could have cried. That was I hunted that one down and I found it, and it was perfect.
It must be like the fisting issue of Spider-Man. That
God, I love that
so
issue.
much.
I got 2 copies.
So I love all the weird covers that I try to find.
That's great. That's great, because I know people that collect like certain Magic cards, or like certain like glow in the dark covers, or there's a lot of people that collect some oddball stuff, and I love that because
I do all the disgusting perverted stuff.
Yeah. Zombie cat, Zombie
that
King
doesn't count.
Zombie King doesn't count.
Oh, that's just dumb.
Wait, is that the cow one?
That's the zombie fucking account.
Yeah,
By
Frank Cho.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've never seen it?
No.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, I think Ryan has 20 issues of that one.
Yeah.
I think we've actually gotten rid of most of them.
I think we got rid of them.
Really? For a while, and
sleep.
Ryan had a pile of those for a good while.
I keep trying to slip them into people's boxes when they're buying comics on our sales. Here, you want this?
Like Cygor.
Yeah, until they open the first page, and you're like, oh no.
I never bought any Cygor, at least. At least I never bought Cygor.
So during our many quarter book sales and big discounted sales we have out in the parking lot and all that, for years we would always find copies of Cygor.
Cygor and Babe Force.
It was one of the Spawn. Cygor was one of the Spawn.
No, Babe Force.
Babe Force.
Babe Force.
Cygor.
That's what it sounds like.
Cygor is one of Spawn's villains, and he had like a 4-issue miniseries back in like the mid '90s or whatever. Yeah. And for whatever reason, like no one would ever take them, and we'd have like hundreds of this book because they were in every box. We'd always see them. Seth would be flipping through the boxes, and he's like, "God damn it, more Cygor!"
We threw more away at every sale, and the next sale we'd find more.
They're like gremlins or something. They just kept popping up. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that Cygor.
Well, your collection, your this oddball desire of yours, Seth, it affects us here. I have to look for this shit when I go through back issues. Like, all right, is this gorilla? Does he have this? Yeah, no, he's got that.
Well, it was so funny because a few months ago, one of our Gage, who was on this podcast a handful of episodes for the Suicide Squad episode, came in and gave me a Gorillas and Chimps DC Secret Origin issue. And he's like, "Hey, does Seth have this?" And I look at it, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sure he has this. I've seen this book like 20 times.
I didn't.
I know he has this." And I just randomly was like, "Well, let me ask Seth just in case." And Seth's like, "No, I haven't seen that." Like, how have you? Like, I've seen this 100 times.
It had what? Gorilla Grodd, had
like
Detective
Titano.
Chimp. No, it was Gorilla Grodd, Detective Chimp, and the Congo...
Congorilla?
Congo
Bill. Yeah,
Congorilla. Yeah, I didn't have that one.
That's
that
crazy.
Was really great, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I figured that'd be the first book you'd
cover
get.
was awesome. There was gorillas riding motorcycles. Detective Chimp was crying. There was dinosaurs in the background. And there was an article in the back about what used to make a great cover art, like in the 40s and the 50s. And it was always, put dinosaurs on the cover, put gorillas on the cover, put somebody crying on the cover, put a question, why is this person crying? So when they did the cover for that book, that's what they did. They put all those things they used to sell covers, and they put them all onto one. So dinosaurs, crying chimps, and the gorilla, and on the motorcycle.
I would like, if I had the space and the desire, one of these days, maybe I will start a dinosaur collection, because I do love me some dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs are awesome.
So, yeah.
I have to find that stuff, especially Spider-Ham. Yeah.
Yes, any Spider-Ham.
I hate that.
Yes, I love Spider-Ham.
The new one of the new Batman issues where they're riding in the Spider-Ham mobile?
Oh, which one was that?
It's like either number 2 or number 1. I think it's Batman and Robin, and they ride in a Spider-Ham mobile. Like it
looks like the Spider-Ham mobile.
It totally looks like it. Totally is. It totally.
Oh right,
is.
yeah. I have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, it totally is. It's really funny. There's like a giant Spider-Ham head.
Oh right, that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it looks like it's Spider-Ham.
Yeah,
looks like Spider-Ham's Batmobile.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember. Yeah, that's awesome.
Everyone loves Spider-Man.
I got an awesome Spider-Ham sketch at this last Long Beach Comic-Con.
I think I've seen it. I think you posted it somewhere. Yeah, that was really cool.
It was well worth the wait in line.
Nice.
Do you have any oddball?
New Warriors?
No. That's your
Dark
favorite.
Hawk.
Oddball stuff.
No. I mean, I probably have every comic that Speedball has a speaking line in pre-2004.
Because Speedball doesn't exist in your universe after a while.
Right, he died in Civil War #1.
Only in your head, though. Right. Because he does come back, but in your head, he didn't. Right.
I mean, I have probably everything. I mean, I don't have every issue where he's just like in the background of some shop, but I probably have every issue that he has a speaking line in. So yeah. I remember I found we got a collection of Marvel.
Your oddball pick is Speedball.
We got a collection
That's
of
a lot of balls.
We got a collection of some Spider-Man stuff a while ago, and I found like a 2-issue New Warriors Scarlet Spider-Man story in there that I was like, I don't think I had this. So I took them. I have to go through my collection and double check, but I have no recollection of seeing this. It wasn't like an official crossover, but it was definitely like 2 issues they were in there. So yeah, I don't know how I missed it.
Didn't he join the New Warriors? Or
right.
There was something that went on, right?
He was in the New Warriors, and there was a couple issues. There was like a Web of Scarlet Spider miniseries that he was involved in.
Yeah.
And there was a couple things, but there was 2 issues that the New Warriors were actually part of with them like on a team mission together, and I have no idea how I missed that. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I kind of remember that one.
And Ryan buys Scarlet Spider, and I win.
I do not buy Scarlet Spider. Well, I bought old Scarlet Spider. New Scarlet Spider is not old Scarlet Spider. No. That's bad. This is worse.
Yeah.
So Toby, your oddballs?
Do I have any? I don't know. Ryan?
I don't think you. Well,
I collect artists.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of artist covers, but I don't think I have an oddball one. I mean,
Bronco Avengers. That's pretty odd.
Yeah.
That's issues though. That's not.
I
know. Occasionally, I mean, there was one that Ryan pulled. I was really happy about. It was a Spider-Man issue, and it had Black Cat, which is one of my favorites, and it also had Gambit, which is also one of my favorites, on the same cover, which really made my day. And I think I keep forgetting about that issue. Like I think every couple of years that kind of shows up. So Ryan got me that one. I was really happy about it. And I think years ago, I might have found it myself and bought it. So I might have multiple copies of it, but just every time I see it, it makes me super happy just because of those set of characters on one cover.
Maybe you should make it your wallpaper on your phone.
No.
Then you'll be happy every day.
No.
Too overkill.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it needs to be special. It needs to stay special.
Well, moving off of Oddball Comics, there was a movie that came out this past weekend, except it came out everywhere else like months ago. The Adventures of Tintin by Steven Spielberg, Stephen Moffat, Edgar Wright. Very
Edgar Wright?
Edgar Wright? Yeah, Stephen Moffat and Edgar Wright did the screenplay and all that. Steven Spielberg, known for a couple movies here and there. I'm not sure what else he's done, but I know he's had a few things that people liked. Stephen Moffat, best known for Doctor Who. And a
lot of other British stuff.
Sherlock, Coupling. Didn't he do Jekyll? Bunch of stuff. Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, Ant-Man.
You could say he's probably the top, UK BBC writer right now.
Yeah.
I mean, since Russell T. Davies is really an American writer at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Tintin, I've kind of purposely not been paying a lot of attention to it.
Now, you did forget to mention Peter Jackson.
But what did he have to do? And
he's doing the sequel.
Well, he produced it along with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, and he's doing the sequel. So what's going on is Spielberg's doing the first, and Peter was basically there on set every day with Spielberg. I mean, they use all of Peter's technology on it, and they were over at Weta Studios doing this. And Peter's actually going to do the sequel, supposedly, and then they're going to do a third one together.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're very much involved together on this one.
Nice. Well, Tintin, for those that don't know, is a series of comic books that started when late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah,
let me see if
it goes back.
The internet can tell me here. Yeah, it looks like it first appeared in 1929. So yeah, but I mean the main stories come from the 30s, 40s, into the 50s by Hergé, a Belgian artist, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very, very popular. One of the most popular comic books in the world, except the United States. So, as expected, this movie did reasonably well here over the weekend. I think I saw it did $24 million. But this has done some gangbusters overseas. It's coming on $300 million already, and that's...
No, it was funny, too, when I was in Europe, which was a couple of months ago, and it was already out at that point, and it was... like the biggest thing. I mean, movie posters on all the bus stands.
Tintin is, for all intents and purposes, like England's, Europe's Disney, or like Europe's Mickey Mouse almost.
Yeah, I almost want to say Spider-Man, Batman level over here.
Sure.
But yeah, it was like all the movie posters were on bus stands. It was in the theaters. When you watch TV, the commercial for the movie would come up every commercial break. It was like Tintin's movie commercial would be in there.
Yeah,
I was really tempted to go watch it then, but I didn't get no one to go watch it with me at that point. But it would have been cool.
Now, Tintin, again, for those who know, it's about a boy named Tintin and his little dog Snowy, and their adventures throughout early kind of little part of the turn of the century, World War II era, very, very Indiana Jones style adventures.
Yeah, very adventure driven.
Right, and I've flipped through the comics. I have not actually sat down and read any of the stories, but Toby, being from Europe, I think you've read a bunch of them.
This is like part of my ingrained comic book history. I completely grew up with this, along with Lucky Luke and Asterix. It was like the main books that were, available to you. I was like, it wasn't even Spider-Man or Batman, any of those, but, Tintin, Asterix, and Lucky Luke was like at every library. It was at every train station. It still is. I mean, like Asterix, you still find, if you go to Europe...
They still sell millions of copies a year.
Any train station has like plenty of copies, They might not have everything, but they have plenty of copies of whatever they have, and they even have it... when TV you used to get a TV guide back in the day, they actually had one page of like a Tintin comic in the back of it, like every week. So you would like at home, if you don't actually have access to the comic book, you would just read that one page. And I actually remember I would cut them out of the TV guide. I would collect the pages trying to put my Tintin book together.
Cool.
So yeah, it was like one of my earliest memories. And it was the cigarette one, the Cigars of Pharaoh, is like the one they cut up in the TV guide. So it was kind of cool. But yeah, no, I totally love the books. I haven't actually read them in years. And I really liked the movie. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, going in with, again, I am a knowledgeable with the character, but I've not really read the books, and I'm, only tangentially knowledgeable about what the stories are about. I was blown away. I thought it was awesome.
It's fun. I went to an earlier showing, so there was a lot of kids there, and a lot of them laughed a lot of the drunken jokes, which was really funny. And I was like, wait, it's very un-American, at this point at least, to have a complete drunk guy in the movie, and he kept looking for more bottles to drink.
Well, one of the things while watching the movie that I was so surprised about and so just relieved and so happy was that there are guns.
Yes.
They get fired.
Yes.
People get shot.
Yes.
People get killed.
Yes.
Tintin has a fucking gun. He's like 13 years old, and he's shooting at people. I don't think Tintin actually hits anyone, but I don't know how much he actually hits people in the books either. But
it was actually the violence was very similar to the books. Yeah. I have to say.
The main character in the movie outside of Tintin is a drunkard who drinks the whole movie.
Which was awesome.
Yeah. Thank God, it wasn't some dumbed down Americanized.
You mean Disney version?
Disney-fied version of this movie.
Spielberg said it best. I think he once said, "This is just really shameless, fun action, like adventure movie." Yeah, it was just a shameless, fun, adventure movie.
This, I almost want to watch it again because I was so down on the 3D and I didn't see it in 3D, but I was so down on the 3D character designs and the motion capture stuff.
Yeah, I would still have to get used to it. But actually, this one I want to rewatch in 3D, actually.
Well, I don't want to watch it in 3D, but I do want to watch it again, kind of being more prepared for it. The theater we went, the volume was really low, and I think that may have I kind of felt like I was more casually watching instead of really engrossed in it.
Yeah.
But I really want to watch it again. This is one of the most fun movies I've seen in a long
time.
Kids
love drunk people. I mean, they were laughing like left and right.
It's a funny movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the fourth Indiana Jones movie. by Spielberg. This is
this is actually how Spielberg found out about Tintin.
I was reading about this earlier for the first time.
So what happened was, this is how he found out. There was a reviewer of, I think, either Raiders or maybe the second one.
I think it was Raiders.
Was it Raiders? It was a French reviewer. He said, this movie's a lot like Tintin, and he was like, what is this Tintin stuff? Someone go grab me an issue. This is how he found out about it. And he had the rights since 81. I mean, he took the rights basically right away, knowing that one day he wants to do a movie. And then he got in touch with Peter Jackson, and Peter Jackson got really excited about it. He goes, Tintin, I got the books right behind me in my little bookcase right now as we were speaking.
I believe Tintin's in Australia and all that. It's
literally
just the United States.
I grew up having owned issues in German and in Chinese because my mom is Chinese and my dad is Swiss. I owned both. Like, my mom would come back from Taiwan and bring me a whole set, a whole spiel, a pile. And they're all in Chinese, and she used to read them to me for bedtime stories. And my dad would read them in German to me.
Now I wonder. Maybe you know more about this than I do. Was this in newspapers and serialized?
I don't. Well, the way I read them was always in those books that everybody sees them in. That's the way I got introduced to them, and the TV guides. Yeah.
I wonder, had this been serialized in U.S. papers the way Dick Tracy and those adventure serials?
It could be maybe something bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Would it have been here? Because to the best of my knowledge, when did Tintin? I don't even know. When did it even first come to the United States?
No idea.
80s, 70s, 80s. Maybe
possible,
even later. I don't know.
Yeah,
because I do not remember it. Kind of Asterix. I knew Asterix.
Yeah.
I think even though it was never.
Does he not? Do you know Lucky Luke?
I'm aware of it, but I've not.
Yeah, Lucky Luke is the third leg off at this point in the American audience, at least. But that was one of the big ones growing up as well.
Yeah, Asterix and Tintin I was always aware of. Asterix a little bit more, but the comedy aspect of Asterix I think never really grabbed me, so I never really got into it.
Yeah.
But I think had I known more about Tintin when I was younger, I probably really would have liked it.
Yeah, it's all mystery, detective stories, just plain adventure stuff. And those were the books where when you read, you were so engaged in it going, what will happen next? What will happen next? And it was really fun.
And much like those Indiana Jones movies, this is about that time, same time period, the same sort of... what am I looking for? This just sort of the mystique of the Orient and a lot of the a
lot of mystery in this. It was there was one book with Asian fireballs appearing and stuff like that. So there's a lot of mystery stuff.
Well, you're talking about the time period of late the 20s and 30s where we have all this interesting technology that can take us across the world so quickly. We have ships and planes and all this stuff. And yet there's still an uncharted world. There's still kind of that mystique to the world where, there's things that have been going on for thousands of years, but now we can actually go and see them. Right. Instead of, see them in a painting or read about them. We can go and we can be in...
That's kind of the first...
the Middle East. We can go and...
The first time the sort of common man has been able to access the worldly knowledge. And that movie has now made me go okay, I really want to read these books.
Because, I highly recommend it.
Because I really want to try to track them. Because it's hard. They're hard to get. They go in and out of print. It's weird. I'm going to track down if I could find a good company that stocks them all, because right now Diamond doesn't, which is ridiculous. But yeah, very, very exciting movie, and anyone if you like Indiana Jones,
and Haddock is just one hell of a character, and he keeps appearing in the books. He's just awesome. There's a professor that's really funny too, and Thompson, which are the two detectives that keep showing up. They're really funny. They just kind of either the world's best detectives or the world's worst, because they seem to not know what they're doing.
Well, and they're played by Nick Frost and Simon Pegg too, which is just they nail
genius.
It. So funny,
but yet they always go to the right place at the right time where it's supposed to be. So it's really funny.
Well, I was interested in going and watching it, and I was sitting down with Callie last week, and I said, "Honey, do you want to go see that?" She goes, "No." I was like, "Okay."
I don't. It's more. Like the sort of Indiana Jones style. It is more. I don't want to say it's a boys thing, but that's sort of. Adventure.
Well, I think someone pointed out it's like Johnny Quest. I didn't grow up Johnny Quest, so I don't know if it ties. Is it similar?
Yeah, it's similar to Johnny Quest. I know my uncle loved the 1940s, 1930s serials, all those things, all the adventure ones. I know he wants to see this movie. So
okay,
very similar. You're right, because of the time period and because of the style, very similar style.
Well, and Leanne liked it because she's into the graphic design.
Yeah, well, you know what?
The art stuff.
No, I mean, she liked it. She thought it was funny. You know what's weird? The CG and the motion capture, it's weird, but it really didn't bother me after a few minutes.
Well, this one worked, I think. For this movie, it just kind of worked.
The reason I think it worked for me was the bodies were like perfectly humanized.
Yeah, but some of the faces were still cartoony,
and that's what it was. They looked like they were all kind of wearing masks, like kind of oversized bobblehead sort of things, because the heads were very cartoony.
Now, how did you feel about Tintin? Because to me, like, everybody else looked kind of cartoony, and Tintin looked a little too human to me at times.
Yeah, but I mean, it really didn't bother me. Yeah, cool. I really didn't. But I think the outlandish, the big bulbous nose, or the woman with the big pointy nose, or the dog, and everyone, or Thompson and Thompson with the mustaches.
Yeah. They look great. Yeah,
everyone had these cartoony aspects, which took you out of this sort of weird uncanny valley, and it really helped. Tintin was maybe the only one where it didn't, but his hair is such a prominent feature that the face really, once it was in motion, it didn't bother me. I think the stills threw me off.
Okay, cool.
But when it was in motion, I hate this stuff normally.
Yeah.
So this is big praise for me, because I normally do not like this style of animation.
So is this definitely a movie to see in the theater?
I mean, I would think so. Okay. I would say it's worth it.
I'd say a lot of people are downing it. I think it'll probably surprise you quite a bit when you do watch it.
And I want to see this succeed here in the U.S. If nothing else than just the knowledge that a kid's movie doesn't have to be dumb and stupid.
Yeah.
It's such a common misconception that kids want these super kidified stuff. Like, no, I mean, kids really liked Superman and Batman movies and Spider-Man because they're adventure and they're action-packed. And this is more like this. I love this stuff as much as I loved it when I was 10, and I love it now. And I can't say enough positive things about it.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it. And then I know on a side note, they're making Asterix movie. They're filming it in France.
There's a live-action one, right?
There's two coming out.
With Gerard Depardieu.
No, the live-action one is actually the third one at this point.
There's
the fourth one.
Okay,
it's like a third or fourth one at this point, because there's the first one came out, and then there was like the Cleopatra one, which starred Monica Bellucci, and oh my god, she was hot as Cleopatra. Like, it's a European movie, and Monica Bellucci and Cleopatra all in one. I was like, oh my Jesus
That's
God.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that was like the second one. I think there was like a third one, which is about the Roman games, and I think this is either the third or the fourth one at this point.
Oh, wow.
But that's never come out here, huh?
Yeah, no. I own, I think, 2 of them at this point. Yeah. And then
are they in English or?
I have them in German. They did originally in French, though.
Right.
So even me watching it now, I kind of wish I got them in French with English subtitles, just because the dubbing. I have the German version of it, but there's a new cartoon coming out too, which is more in a CG kind of, and Asterix works really well with the CG. I think I've seen some pictures of it, but then I also grew up with all the cartoons. There's like 7 animated movies that are the old animation style too, which are great also. I do want to mention for the listeners out there that want to read some of this. This movie was based on, as Ryan said earlier, The Crab with the Golden Claws and The Secret of the Unicorn. And now you also said it was also based on Red Backham's Treasure. I don't think that was in the movie though at all. But I don't know. It's been so long since I've read any of these.
Well, Rackham is the pirate guy.
Yeah, so okay, so like I think that one is very, because the crab one and the secret unicorn were very, very much in the movie. Like, it was significant, but yeah, I almost thought the Backham is going to be the sequel book or the sequel movie they're going to do, but
maybe go more into
or maybe they have multiple books they want to do. But I hope, dear God, I hope they're going to do the moon ones. When it comes to the third movie, the Destination Moon and Explorers on the Moon, that was like my all-time favorite when I was reading them as a kid. So I really, really hope that'll be like the third big finale that they'll do.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like it's doing decently. I mean, I know it's Christmas weekend, and so there's a lot of stuff to fight against. But I mean, the reviews have seemed pretty positive, and I really hope people give this movie a chance, because I want to see it succeed, because it was a hell of a lot of fun.
The other one I really liked was Cigars of Pharaoh, which is a big mystery one. The Seven Crystal Balls was really good. The Prisoners of the Sun was really good too. Those were like my main favorite books out of all of this.
Is there a specific reading order for these?
So there is with some of them. So there's some. Most of them you could just pick up and just start reading, which is fine. But definitely the 2 Moon ones, you want to read Destination Moon before you read Explorers on the Moon. You know, or same as the Secret of the Unicorn, you want to read the Red Backham's Treasure after that one. There's a couple that are like kind of paired up. But most of them, you just like literally just pick it up and read. I think the Blue Lotus was actually connected to the 7 Crystal Balls. It's been so long that I don't remember offhand, but there's a couple of them that are paired off, but most of them you can literally pick a book and look at the cover that interests you and just start reading, and will make sense.
Looking real quick, it looks like it was actually started as a comic strip.
So it did.
That would explain, and then they were sort of condensed down and adapted and put into the the book formats, that would explain why they were so popular in Europe, and probably had it run in the comic strips here. I'm sure it would have been just as popular.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at a list here. There's 24 books. They go from 1929 to 1986. It was actually finished in 2004 because it was published. I mean, he died. The author died, and then they kind of published it. So, I mean, most of them were published between 1930 and 1960. So, and then a couple came out in his later years. So
cool.
Yeah,
and there's all kinds. I mean, there's full-on adventure ones. There's some mystery ones. There's even a couple of them that when I was a kid, I was actually scared of. I read it once, and I was like, that was too scary, too weird for me. I don't want to read that one again. You know, there's all kinds in these books. It's really cool.
Nice. Yeah, isn't Tintin in the Congo? That's the one that they pulled. Is that the one that they pulled here? The one where he goes to the Congo in the semi controversial characterization of the people of the Congo.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You mean black? You mean African Americans?
Sure, absolutely. Well, no, they're not African Americans.
They're
in the
Congonians.
Yes. African Congolans. Yes.
Yeah, I don't see it here on the back of this book right here.
Oh, they don't have it because I remember it got
I don't
pulled.
see it. Yeah, is it actually called that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it on the back.
Yeah, because it's a very it's a very kind of racist styling of black people in that comic, I think I remember something about that. Yeah, but I think
it's like how the black Smurfs became purple Smurfs.
Yeah.
Whole another subject,
right? But I think they actually have. It may be banned at some places, but I think it is available now.
Okay.
Can you still get these hardcover collections?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different collections in the U.S., and they, like I said, there are some. They're so weirdly in and out of print, and they're so like.
Yeah,
it really disappoints me that no U.S. company has a really nice collection of these constantly available. I mean, I'm sure Amazon probably has a lot of them. I've checked through book publishers, and they go in and out of print, and Diamond, the comic distributor. And so I'm trying to find a really good. Maybe they could just release bigger full-size collections or something. I don't know.
I mean, the way they originally I grew up with was the way it's the
album.
Yeah, the album ones. It's the one story per book. Brock just held up, you just checked out the one that had collected 3 in one.
Yeah.
It's pretty a little smaller. Some of the art, there's a lot of little things going on, so you might even want to go with the bigger one just so you could actually enjoy the art. On the smaller hardcover ones, it's kind of, how do you say it? Yeah, it's kind of condensed and feels a little... Yeah, stashed together too much.
Having flipped through them, I much more prefer the single issue. In Europe, they call them the graphic albums.
Yeah.
The one shot kind of 96 page.
You get a better enjoyment out of those. Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool. Speaking about the size of comics and reading comics, I got to play with a Kindle Fire this weekend.
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. How was that? Burn yourself?
No, I didn't burn myself. No, I flipped through it. My girlfriend's...
You flipped through it?
I flipped through it.
Flipped through some pages?
You flipped through some pages, right? My girlfriend's brother got one for Christmas, and so I loaded Comixology on there, it comes preloaded.
Yeah, I know.
So...
Yeah, DC is pushing that.
But I loaded Walking Dead #1 was free to download. Invincible was free to download. And I downloaded the DC... solicitation book for the 52. Really, I mean, it's nice. Good size for your hand. Good size just to read full pages. But I think there's a real fine line with kind of the detail that you get. Like Walking Dead, you look at that book, you want to see the grittiness of it, and you want to. I mean, even though it's black and white, you still want to see that. But the font in the dialogue boxes and also in the narration boxes, there's a fine line between too small and too small to read on that screen. And then I tried the guided view. It's interesting because you get those panels that you see where the actions, technically the right is the first action and the left is the second action, but when you read it, you read left to right, or you see it as a whole. In this, it kind of gives you that nice little movement in one panel. But again, like you've said before, you have to flip it around.
Yeah.
Like it's horizontal, now it's vertical, now it's horizontal, now it's vertical. And I think one of the biggest disappointments I had was the splash page for the Justice League #1, where Batman's diving out of the spray of bullets. They didn't even put it to the size of the Kindle. Like, it's not, there's black bars, like it's a widescreen version. And I'm like, why wouldn't it be up? Because that's one of the problems, like with digital, you don't get the splash page effect. Mm-hmm. You don't get that, whoa, oh my God, this is awesome. I can see
you
the
just
appeal.
need two fires and put them
two fires.
Two fires, yeah.
I can see the appeal. It's a great little reader, web browser. You cannot listen to the podcast directly on it. I tried.
You have to download it? Or?
You can't do direct download, so I don't know if you can do iTunes or Zoom, but you cannot direct download it. I think that has to do with the Android software that they use. No, I mean, it's a nice little kind of e-reader / tablet thing. Pops brilliantly, plays videos fine. It's definitely not something that you would play. You would have like, oh, check out this video, because you can't hear shit coming out of the speakers. It's very much I have my own earphones. I'm, kind of, this is what I'm looking at. So, but for $200.
So if you want comic books, don't buy the Kindle Fire.
I think the big thing with the digital comics coming still is either making comics for the digital, itself, or somehow reworking the program so taking comics, making them digitally, they look like comics still. That has to be one of the two things they have to work on. Making your original digital content or somehow getting the comic books to look better digitally. And it's just going to take time.
Yeah, I think it's something they're going to try to still work on. So I know Comixology's, they're on their third version of their app, and they're changing stuff. They're still updating it. They moved
app
over
had
to
a couple bugs too.
They moved over to the HTML5. They're moving away from Flash.
Now, isn't there another one, Comicverse or something? There's another one that does like the image and the top cow.
There's like Comicverse and iVerse, and there's a few different ones. But yeah, I mean, Comixology, kind of like Diamond, is the only game in town, really.
No, but doesn't the other one? There's like the other one that does like all the image books, like all. Like a lot of the big independent ones, that's the Dynamite stuff, and it's quite a chunk to have on their list. Actually,
I don't know.
Yeah, it was recommended to me, and I checked the publishers list, and it's a really good list. It's really who's
That's
that
cool.
is not Dark Horse, Marvel, or DC.
Yeah.
It's really who's who of everybody else,
Well,
and they're not on Comixology, I think.
Well, the Comixology problem is still that it's is that it's not a download. I mean, it's just you're just accessing.
It's you have
their database, and that's going to be
you have it, but it's in the cloud. So
you don't have it in the cloud. It's on their account. You're just reading it, so it's not. You don't have a copy.
It's really bountiful. I mean, especially when you pay a full $2.99 for it when it's new.
Well, no, because you download it to the Kindle.
Yeah, but what if your Kindle dies?
You download the. You're not actually downloading it. I mean, that's the problem. You don't own it. You don't own the file.
No, I don't own the. It's not that like I own the file. It's not like I can't take the file off.
It's almost like
Kindle.
a fancy renting.
You're downloading the images. You're not actually buying the. You're not buying a PDF or a CBR.
You can't
file.
back it up yourself,
right? You can't back.
No,
it up.
you can't back it. But it's actually downloaded from the cloud. You just don't. You can't do anything with it because it's
right. I mean,
it's
it's read only.
Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's what a lot of you're going to see. A lot of people, a lot of the companies, they want streaming. They don't want you to actually have the physical copy. I mean, iTunes. It's we talked about that. I mean, they're one of the few, if only, companies out there that you're actually downloading the actual thing. There's no like download the song to your iPod, and there's no physical song on there. It's just like access to the song. So it'd be weird to see what happens. Yeah, but Comixology's still having a big sale on their site. So if
Batman, right?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you like digital comics and you want to buy some stuff, don't let our bad mouthing some of the format scare you away, because I know so many people that like it.
Well,
and I like money, so you can go to digital.comicsconspiracy.biz and buy.
I have to say, the first time I saw a comic book on my iPad, I was really blown away by how much the color pop.
They look nice.
They look really nice.
Well, because everything's
really
done digitally now.
I just have a problem with the price still. If it's on sale, I think I'm willing to, but not at $2.99.
For me, it's not going to replace me getting physical comics, but for my girlfriend, who is like, oh, I want to read something. Can I read something? I'm like, I don't really have access to it.
It's very casual, one-click, 99-cent friendly. Yeah. I don't think we're going to get to the point where new books will be 99 cents, but I can see a future where a 99-cent back issue is kind of the standard. The new books are released at standard prices, and after 6 months or so, they're dropped down to 99 cents. I mean, I can see this already happening. Comixology has done so many sales that basically, unless you're buying day and date, like just wait for their 99-cent sale, because they'll do it eventually.
They'll do it eventually. Well, and
it takes a while, but I mean, this just like in comic book stores, you could have got all these comic books for $0.25 or 10 cents this last weekend at our sale. So whatever. Yeah.
No, I think the digital is definitely like a way for my girlfriend to go into comics, at least going into older issues, because she's still on the fence on whether she likes hardcover or softcover. And, it's one of those things where she likes reading single issues, but she's impatient. So she's like, what else can I read?
Yeah, just go back and read through a bunch of stuff.
It's just like you pick up 6 issues, $6.
Yeah.
That trade would have cost you $14.99.
Nice. So, well, we're going to go ahead and do some random comic picks of the week. Me and Toby are totally going to cheap out here and pick Tintin that we already talked about.
Absolutely.
So we don't have to talk about our picks, because I haven't read them. So Toby, you get to double pick here. What's your pick, and which one should I read? And that will be my pick. See how I do this?
That's not a random pick. That's a random read. And you haven't even watched Daredevil yet, so don't do that.
I know he's still got a couple.
I know he still has time.
Next episode will be our year in review plus the Daredevil director cut commentary. So we're fine.
Right.
Yeah,
I will try and rewatch it by then too, just so I have it fresh in my memory.
Great, I have to rewatch it too. Dang.
I have to say my absolute favorite 2 Tintin books were The Destination Moon and Explorers on the Moon. So I really the Moon Adventure was just the big memory I have of Tintin. Cool. So I highly recommend. It's kind of a 2-parter, hence I have to recommend both this book together, because in Explorers on the Moon they're already in the rocket.
Right.
Like going to the moon, and Destination, that's where they go inside the rocket. But the moon itself is like Thompson are with them, and funny things happen to them with their hair and stuff like that. It's really funny. For you, Ryan, the one that really kind of took me in was Cigars of Pharaoh. And there's a mystery about like the cigar stuff, and he kind of follows all the clues. It's very, very, very clue driven. So I highly recommend that one to you. And there's quite a few others. The 7 Crystal Balls is really good too. And some of them I mentioned earlier in this podcast. Sure. So Cigars of Pharaoh and the 2 Moon Adventures. Highly recommend those. There's one other thing I have to say. All the Tintin books feel really epic, just because they're a little longer in length compared to a normal American comic. They feel real. They go to places. They travel. They fly to places. The whole thing doesn't play in one city. They travel from city to city, or even other countries and stuff. So it's a really, really cool book.
Yeah, and I mean, there doesn't seem to be a lot of like decomposition. It's not just like lots of dialogue and slow plotting. It's not written like a Bendis thing. It seems like adventure. Really,
no, it is fully adventure-driven book. Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, I would recommend that then, because I will try to read that.
Yeah.
And the next week or so.
Do we have it? I don't know if we have it.
Is it in there?
Well, you could read the Moon ones.
I'll read the Moon ones then.
Yeah. I don't think you have the Pharaoh one, which, yeah.
Oh.
Cool. Brock.
Cheaped out again. Go,
How
Brock.
did I cheap out?
No, I cheaped out.
You always cheap out.
I know. I hate the stupid picks.
I know.
I don't actually read these things. You know that, right? I just look them up.
You don't actually read. See, that's the thing with comic books. They have words, but you just flip through.
He just looks at the pictures.
And you go, Morrison, he must write really good because there's enough words, but not too many.
Not too many.
Right?
It's not Kevin Smith level.
Speaking of Morrison and Johns, I'm going to recommend 52.
Nice.
I kind of got, when I got back into comic books, about 4 years ago. This was, I think, almost halfway done. So I kind of went and got the issues and went back and got issues and read it. And it's a really good kind of introduction to the non-major players in the DC universe, which kind of like got me into Booster Gold, which then bleeds into the current Booster Gold series that ended with the New 52, which DC bring Booster Gold back in his own title, please. You can get rid of OMAC and bring Booster Gold.
No, but bring back Booster Gold, but keep OMAC.
But yeah, 52, really, really good read. There's 4 volumes. Speaking of which, this is something I actually need to get for my collection. So,
DC has announced an Infinite Crisis like omnibus collection where it's like all the Infinite Crisis stuff in one giant ass hard
I
soft
saw
cover.
that.
I would hold off on a 52 because I guarantee you they'll do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want something that big though.
I do.
Like I
do.
Like I like 52, but I don't need every little crossover thing to it.
No, it's just going to be the 4 books and probably World War III in one giant collection.
Yeah, I don't really
wait. I guarantee you they'll do it.
I don't know. I like these; they're nice. We'll see. Yeah. But that it was an Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
It's like 1,200 pages. The thing is gigantic.
I know. When is that coming out?
I don't know. Like end of the year or something.
Yeah, make sure
this summer.
Well, like everyone in the store hasn't. You're putting down for an order.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, final pick goes to our special guest.
All right, my pick. I'm going to have to go with some of the new 52s, but what I'm really loving is that it's not just superheroes now, not just punching, fighting superheroes, but that there's more scientific things and science fiction things. I'm a big science geek. So I'm going to go with The Flash, which has some great science in it, and his super meta cognitive abilities now that he has, his super thinking, and all the science they throw into that. And also OMAC and Superboy and Mr. Terrific. So all the kind of more science-y books are really good and a little more intelligent and more fun to read than just superheroes.
Now I know Superboy is one of Toby's favorites.
Hell yeah.
And Captain Atom is...
Wait, we're talking about Superboy?
Yes, Captain Atom is really great too.
We're talking about Superboy or the new Gen 13?
Superboy.
Okay.
And Captain Atom is one of Charlie's favorite books. He's been on this podcast a few times, so you know Charlie. So, yeah, it's and I've really been enjoying The Flash and OMAC, so I highly recommend all these books.
But you haven't been enjoying Captain Atom.
Captain Atom has been okay. I haven't loved it, but it has been okay. And same with Mr. Terrific. I've dropped them just due to just a physical... Just due to the ability that I just can't buy every single comic book in the world that I want, but I will gladly read them for free at the store.
And with me, I mean, I'm liking Captain Atom, which surprised me because I've never liked J.T. Kroll before. I never really liked any of his stuff, but I didn't like Green Arrow at all. But I'm really liking the Captain Atom.
Well, this is, I know, reading Super Gods, which I haven't finished reading yet, which is, it's hard to read. Okay.
Is it choppy?
No, it's not. It's heavy, like...
Morrison's awesome.
Like Lord of the Rings heavy.
Sweet.
But no, what Seth was saying about science coming back into comic books, well, comic books used to have a lot of science in them, especially like with The Flash and, Fantastic Four and a lot of these older comics. They used to have a lot of, these...
they would try.
They would try, but
a lot of big words.
It's more what's based on like kind of, you watch all these TV shows like ER and... CSI and all these shows where none of the people acting know what the fuck they're talking about, but it's kind of just cool to hear that techno babble or like you said, or when people like our podcast, I guess because we talk shop, which I don't even know what shop talk is, but
yeah,
what, who,
continue.
You're weird.
Don't rub the microphone because it's very loud.
Do it.
Sorry.
Continue.
So no, I think that's great. They kind of bring the science, because that's the thing is you can attract different readers with different things. There might be scientific stuff in Flash that somebody enjoys. There might be some mystery thing that somebody enjoys out of one thing, or so on and so forth. So
yeah, there's just a lot of great new genres made with the new 52s. A lot of intelligent books and fun books, and just it's the whole wide gamut now than just capes and tights.
Yeah. Even though you can have a book like Animal Man or Swamp Thing, which is tied in with the superheroes, but
we don't have capes or tights anymore. I mean, we have shorts and body armor.
Yes, but we still have capes.
We still have capes, but we don't have tights. We have body armor.
Close enough. All right.
You are no fun.
That will do it for
towards the end of the podcast. Absolutely none.
He was no fun in the beginning.
I want to go home. I'm done. I'm ready.
Coming
I'm out.
from one of his best friends.
Once we crack that hour mark, I'm like, time to shut this off. I'm ready to
Dude,
go
once we crack the hour mark, you're like a woman whose biological clock starts ticking, and everybody has to hear it.
Thank you
Anyway.
for listening to episode 38 of The Comic Conspiracy. If you want to hear this episode or more, you can go to www.geekbox.net, where you can hear all of these episodes and other episodes, including the Geekbox, which is the parent podcast to this podcast, and the Comedy Button, our great-grandparent to this podcast.
It's not our grandparents, our step-cousin.
Whatever it is. I don't give a fuck. You can go on the forums and talk to all of us here, forums.geekbox.net. You can talk in the comic forum, talk comics with us in the comic thread, all sorts of good stuff in there. You can go to
conspiratobrock.com and leave hate comments on posts, which is perfectly fine. I enjoy getting hate mail as much as,
Nice.
love mail.
Nice.
Even though I don't really get love mail.
Nice.
Yeah, you can come visit the shop.
Yes, we're in Sunnyvale, California. You can come visit the shop anytime. We always like paying customers. You can go to digital.comicsconspiracy.biz if you want to download any awesome digital comics from Comixology through us. No Marvel and DC, or no Marvel and Dark Horse yet, but apparently that's being worked on, as well as their upcoming new non-Flash enabled HTML5 site. So
we are going to be a part of that?
I mean, it's in beta right now, so yeah, once it's rolled out, yeah, we'll be part of it. So all you iPad thingy people can buy comics through us.
I need a copy of that Justice League serial, comic number 1.
Oh, yes.
Issue 1.
Brock, despite not being the world's largest cereal fan...
I like cereal.
Oh, okay.
Who doesn't like cereal?
Then why don't you just buy more till you get it?
Because
that was my excuse.
Cereal's expensive, and I have a kid to feed.
It's not that expensive.
Feed him cereal.
He's 7 months old.
Mush it up.
Feed him cereal. Feed him cereal. I see no problem
sugar.
with this. Yes,
sugar.
Oh, why? Literally, what is the problem with this? I do not understand.
Yeah, Brock, you don't need to sleep.
I grew up on Crunch Berries. What's the problem?
Exactly. Yeah. Do you follow Captain Crunch on Twitter? He is hilarious.
Yes, I do. And Sea Dog and John the Foot.
Yes.
I follow them all.
Yes. They are great. I love them. So if anyone happens to have the volume 1 of the General Mills Justice League book, we have a handful of 2s and 4s, I think.
No, I actually got another 3.
Oh, okay.
I needed a 3. Took a 3, then I got a 3.
If anyone's got a volume 1 and needs some of the other volumes, let us know. We're willing to trade. We're willing to deal. I'll throw you a couple books free. Brock needs his volume 1 because he doesn't want to buy any more cereal. So
no, I tried to buy it, but it's no longer really out.
You can follow myself in the store on Ryan Higgins Twitter on Ryan Higgins Ryan.
You don't even know your own
I can pronounce my own name. Or you can follow us on Facebook and all this crap. Brock doesn't do any of that shit. Toby still...
I'm on Facebook.
Toby XI?
Yeah, TOBYXI.
All right.
Yeah.
Seth, do you want to throw a little Facebook,
sure.
Twitter love?
My Twitter is Gru Cheese Dip.
Yes, that is
So
awesome.
if you're a Sergio Aragones fan, you know what that is.
Did you say Gru Cheese Dip or Gru Eat Dick?
Yes. Gru Cheese Dip. That's Gru with 2 O's.
Yes, GROOCHEESEDIP. Gru
Okay,
cheese
explain to me.
dip.
Since I have 3 tweeters here.
Gru is a big fan of cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Gru is Sergio Aragones' giant main book, and he loves cheese dip. And I was like, everyone uses their name on Twitter. That's just boring. So I'm going to show what I'm a fan of. So it's Gru Cheese Dip.
Nice.
Okay, so there's 3 tweeters here.
Yeah.
So why should I tweet?
So you could talk to us on Twitter while you're standing next to me in the store.
I mainly do it to see what like Stan Lee tweets about. That's what got me on Twitter. That Stan Lee is on Twitter. That's what got me.
I think Olivia Munn got me.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Stan!
Oh God, Olivia Munn.
Isn't it Stan's birthday?
No, I don't think so.
No.
In 2 days?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
Betty White's birthday is next month. I know that.
Ooh, Betty White.
Yeah.
Betty White.
All right.
And if you're listening, Olivia Munn, I have dibs over Toby.
What? What? No.
I did call
man.
them.
We have 2 members of the Olivia Munn official fan club here, so better watch out.
There's more than 2
We better end
members?
this. We better end this
Yes.
podcast before things get violent.
No.
Seth, thank you very much for hanging out and being on the podcast tonight.
Thanks for having me here. It was fun.
Next time you're visiting, we'll have you on. You're a welcome distraction from these yahoos.
And one final thing. It's not clear, Ryan.
Yes, it's not
okay,
clear.
Okay.
Inside joke.
Okay.
Inside joke.
Everyone have a good. Hope you had a good Christmas and have a good New Year.
Have a safe New Year.
Yes, have a great, safe
and responsible New Year.
Can we do like a New Year's
away
podcast
from me on the
where we
road.
start drinking here and we do like a drunken podcast?
Okay, I would love to do a drunken podcast.
Yeah, especially it'll be the
Do you
first
know
time.
who's sitting over there?
Yeah, it'll be the first time he'll be drunk. It'll be best podcast ever.
So maybe mute those mics again.
No, you know what? I'm wondering if we can bump the numbers on Ryan Higgins behind the
Every
drinking
time he does a
YouTube
Marvel hit,
video
he has to take a
views.
shot.
Can we do that?
I want to live to see the next day.
No, you don't. You don't like the next day ever.
we will talk to everyone next year.
Sweet.
Happy New Year.
Yay.
And next year we will have our picks.
Best episode, best picks of the year,
And
plus
the Daredevil
Yay.
director commentary. Okay.
All right.
If not, Ryan has to watch Big Bang Theory.
Trust me, it'll never come to that. All right.
He'll watch Daredevil on like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what we're doing New Year's Eve, Seth?
I'm fine.
Like,
I've seen it.
2 hours
I'll watch
before
it
it
again.
clocks 12, I'm like, oh snap! I have to watch this now.
Hey, Coolio's in it. I'll watch it.
All right. Now we're out.